In this video, we're going to work on section 6-1 on page 361. So please look at the key concept, the nth root. If a to the nth power equals b with a and b real numbers and n is a positive integer, then a is going to be called as an nth root of b when a to the nth power equivalent to b. Alright, so we have a two scenario. First scenario is your n equals odd number. What did they say? If n is odd, there is only how many real nth root? Only one real nth root of b, denoted as nth root of b. That's what you are going to have. If your n is even, you can expect it's going to be something different, right? How many answers we're going to have it? We're going to have 2, which is, two real number, but you have two conditions this time. So when n is even, you're having two conditions. First condition is that your b is positive. Then you are having 2 real nth root of b. And then at this time, we specially call it as a positive root is principal root or principal nth root. And it is denoted as nth root of b. Okay? If that is positive, how can you call it? Principal root. And you're going to have a two real nth, which is a 1 nth root of b and negative nth root of b. And your b is negative. Then we don't have any real nth root of this time. So no real nth root of b this time. So if I give you an example, maybe I can give an example for this. So my n is even, like 2. So let's say my n is 2. And then my b is negative 1. And think about it. I'm going to have a square root of negative 1. Do we have any real roots this time? No. We actually have what? Plus or? Actually, this one is going to be give us I. But I is not a real number, isn't it? So if you guys have like that situation, you don't have any real nth root this time. But like I said, you're having the example like this. Your same layer n is 2, and let's say you are having 4 this time. Your b is 4 this time. Then square root of 4. That's gonna be what we are looking for, which is the question says that a squared equal 4. Then what I'm going to find out what's gonna be my a. So you can maybe simply say, oh, that's gonna be only the square root of 4, which is 2. That's gonna be the answer. No, because a squared, negative squared also become, positive. So once we put the square root each side, what do we need to put always together? Plus or negative. There is a reason why we always put the plus or negative. So for this, it is going to be support, then my answer is going to be plus or negative radical 4, which is 2. Especially if you are saying square root of 4, which is a positive number, that's what we call the principal root. If you guys have a negative nth root of b, that's going to be negative 2 this time. And then your n is odd. If I want to give you the example of that, it would be this. So let's say your b is, maybe n is 3, then your b is 1, then you would be something like that. A to the third power equal 1. You are going to put the cube root of each side. That's what we practiced already in the previous video. The a would be what? Cube root of 1, which is just 1. So as you see that you're going to have only one real number. That's it. Okay? So after that, on page 362, they're going to introduce you the vocabulary of index, radical root, and radicand. So when you look at the page 362 all the way top, you can see this, right? So especially this n we called index. And your a we called radicand. And then we can say this is a radical sign. So, that is a vocabulary you need to memorize. Radical sign. Okay? So, alright, let's move on to the example on page 362. So, I'm still on the same page, problem 1. A. What are the real cube root of 0.008? So we are finding cube root, right, of 0.008, negative 1,000, and 1/27. So we are thinking about which one is gonna be 0.008 when we cubed on it. So you can think about cube root of 0.008. So cube root of 0.008 actually means what? Cube root of 8/1,000. I know that 8, if you are times 2 third times, it will be 8. If you times 10 third times, that would be 1,000. So, that can be simplified as a 2/10, which is 0.2. So I can say 0.2 is the only real cube root of 0.008. What about 1,000? Cube root of, that's 3. Cube root of 1,000. So as we practiced, 10 cubed would be 1,000, but we are having negative. So this time, negative 10 cubed, that will be same as 1,000. So my answer would be negative 10. So negative 10 is one real cube root of negative 10. Okay, my next question is 27. So cube root of 1/27. 27 is what? 3 cubed. So this one can be written as 1/3 cubed. And this 3 could be cancelled. Then I have 1/3. So I can say 1/3 is the only real cube root of 1/27. And then this, what are the real fourth root of 1? So this is either even number. What you need to think of, you're going to have a plus or a negative, which is a 2. And when we are talking about it, and then your b is negative, is it gonna exist? No, we don't have any real root exist. So you have to, pay attention to that fact. Now b, you need to find the real fourth root of negative 0.0001. Oh, it's starting with 1, right? So it started with 1. Negative 0.0001 and 16/81. Okay, so when we look at the fourth root of 1, that is gonna be what? Just 1. But think about it. What about? So actually, this means this. A to the fourth power, that should be 1, right? Another meaning of that is this. So that when we look at the fourth root each side, since this is even, what do we need to look at it? Plus or negative together. Then my A would be fourth root of 1. And then another answer is going to be negative fourth root of 1. This is 1. This is negative 1. How do we know that? Because 1 to the fourth power equal 1. Also, negative 1 to the fourth power equal 1 as well. That's why your fourth root of 1 would be plus or negative 1 this time. What about 0.0001? So I'm going to look at that, or you may think about, oh, what about 0.1? 0.1 to the fourth power, which is, so your goal is to find out something to the fourth power. Something to the fourth power should be negative 0.0001. So, if you have to the fourth power, if you are, multiply same number 4 times, would you be able to make negative number? No, not really. So, as we learned that in the previous page, since negative 0.0001 is negative, there are no real fourth root of negative 0.0001. Okay, 16/81. So 16/81, you have to think about this. You can think about that. 2/3 to the fourth power. So your goal is to get your a to the fourth power becomes 16/81. Maybe better. This may be better to show you. A to the fourth power becomes 16/81. Right? So please put the fourth root of each side. As we did, you always put the plus or negative because 2/3 to the fourth power is 16/81. Samely, if you have a negative 2/3 to the fourth power, still you are going to have a 16/81. So your answer in this time, 2/3 and negative 2/3, these two numbers are going to be real fourth root of 16/81. Okay, I want you guys pause this video to work on got it 1 by yourself. After that, please check your answer. Okay, got it 1. What are the real fifth root of 0? Negative 1 and 32. Fifth root of 0. It is going to be 0. And fifth root of negative 1. So think about it. A to the fifth power should be negative 1. What is going to be my A? Fifth root of A. That means fifth root of negative 1. My A would be negative 1. So my answer would be negative 1. And the fifth root of 32, a to the fifth power should be 32. I know that 2 to the fifth power is 32. My answer A would be just 2. Alright? My B this time. What are the real square root of 0.01? Negative 1 and 36 out of 121. So think about it. A to the second power, which is a squared, should be 0.01. So when you put the square root each side, plus or negative, since this is an even power, your a is going to be plus or negative 1 over 100 and square root. Since 100 is what? 10 squared. My answer is going to be plus or negative 0.1. So those two would be my answer. What about this? I want you to find out a squared become negative 1. Do we have any real number to make a negative 1 when you squared on it? No. So no real square root. What about this? A squared should be same as 36 out of 121. Once you put the square root each side, please put the plus or negative. Your a would be what? Plus or negative 6 over 11. That's going to be the answer. Alright, C. Why a negative real number b has no real nth root if n is even? Because any negative number multiplied by itself an even number of times will always be positive. That's what I mentioned. So therefore, they can be no real nth root for a negative number b. Okay? Alright, so let's work on the problem 2 together, and you're going to work got it 2 by yourself. So problem 2, find roots. Alright, so this time they are already given us with the symbol. Then you can just simply find out what it is. So cube root of negative 8. So which number cubed will be negative 8? Negative 2 cubed would become negative 8. So you can cancel this one out. Then my answer would be just negative 2. B. I have 0.04. Guys, this is different. The question says the square root of 0.04. That would be plus or negative 0.2. But the square root of 0.04 is just indicate only the positive square root, which is square root of 4 out of 100. That become 2 over 10, which is 0.2. So we don't put negative 0.2 this time, okay? And then C. Fourth root of negative 1. Oh well, your n is even, and then you got a b as negative 1. Do we find any answer for that? No. So no real root, because your b is negative. And now what? D. Square root of negative 2 squared. Then you have to simplify negative 2 squared first, which is a square root of 4. And that become what? Positive 2. That's going to be the answer. Alright, please pause this video to work on got it 2 by yourself. Alright, let's go over got it 2 together. Now I'm on page 363. Now got it to A. My question, cube root of negative 27. Oh, is it available? Yes, because negative 27, which is a negative. So negative 3 cubed would be negative 27. So that I can cancel these out. Then what is my answer? Negative 3. That's my answer. B. Fourth root of negative 81. Does it make sense to us? No. So no real root, because 4 is even and your b is negative. C. Square root of negative 7 squared. This time you have to simplify first, which is a 49. So square root of 49, which is 7. Alright, now D. Radical negative 49. Oops. Since this is a 2 invisible, which is my even number, then your b is negative. So no real root is gonna be exist. Alright, I hope this video helped you, and we're going to work on the problem 3 on next video. Bye.